Let's talk about Russia's President Vladimir Putin. Putin doesn't care much about the meeting in Switzerland. He has more important things to focus on than a meeting by a lake with Western leaders. Putin is interested in real diplomacy and strengthening old friendships. He is on a 3-day trip to 2 friendly countries, North Korea and Vietnam. If this was 50 years ago, this trip would be normal because Moscow used to strengthen ties with other communist nations. But in 2024, the trip is surprising. North Korea is isolated, and almost no one visits Pyongyang. Even Putin last visited North Korea 24 years ago, and now he's going again tomorrow, showing it is important. After that, he goes to Vietnam, which is even more interesting and important for us to discuss. Vietnam today is very different from 50 years ago. It is no longer an enemy of the West. Instead, the West now values its relationship with Vietnam, even though it is still a single-party communist state. For example, last year, U.S. President Joe Biden visited Vietnam and strengthened ties, making the relationship a comprehensive strategic partnership. This is the same Vietnam that the U.S. fought a war with and tried to defeat its communist government. So why the change? The reason is China. China is now seen as a major opponent by the West, and Vietnam is considered a good alternative to China. This way, the West can reduce its dependence on China. However, it won't be easy to replace China. For many years, the West has taken advantage of cheap labor in China, saving money and benefiting from China's lack of strict labor laws. This relationship helped both the Western companies and China's growth. But now, the West sees China as a threat and is looking for other options, even if it is a bit late. Many Asian countries are competing to replace China, but Vietnam is leading the way. It is already benefiting from the tension between the West and China, attracting large investments from former enemies like the United States. Vietnam is handling the situation wisely. It understands that the West can be an unreliable partner, so it maintains its old friendships, like with Moscow, regardless of what Washington wants. When news of Putin's trip to Vietnam broke, the U.S. was angry. The U.S. Embassy in Vietnam issued a strong statement saying no country should give Putin a platform to promote his war of aggression and normalize his atrocities. Allowing him to travel freely could normalize Russia's blatant violations of international law. This was a clear protest against Vietnam for inviting Putin. However, Hanoi is unlikely to be swayed. It is preparing a grand welcome for the Russian president. There is excitement in the air, and many Vietnamese people are thrilled. They see Putin's visit as an interesting opportunity. Some hope that during his visit, Putin will notice how well Russian products are selling in Vietnam and appreciate that the Vietnamese people love Russian goods because they are of high quality. President Putin's visit to Vietnam is like starting a new chapter for the country. It brings hope that the friendship between Vietnam and Russia will grow even stronger. Vietnam and Russia have many connections, including close ties between their people, trade relations, and arms agreements. Russia is still Vietnam's largest supplier of weapons. This relationship goes back decades to when the West was trying to defeat Hanoi. So, it makes sense that Vietnam would welcome Putin. Putin's visit strengthens Vietnam's position and highlights the country's strategic independence. The West wants Vietnam to be an alternative to China, while Russia wants Vietnam as a valuable trade partner. Vietnam can fulfill both roles and benefit from it. This strategy is known as bamboo diplomacy. Just like bamboo, which bends in all directions without breaking, Vietnam balances competing geopolitical interests with strong roots and flexible branches. Vietnam is likely to continue this approach, despite the U.S. being unhappy about it. This is it for today's video. What do you think of our video? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more future updates. Thanks for watching.